You've built a life, raised kids, shared a bed for decades. But now, she barely looks you in the eyes. The laughter has faded. The warmth, harder to find. And some nights, it feels like you're sleeping next to a stranger. Something's changed, and you can feel it, even if you can't explain it yet. You're not imagining things. You're not alone. And it's not too late. You've shared decades together, built a home, survived with hard times, created a life full of memories. But lately, there's a silence between you. Not the peaceful kind, but the kind that feels heavy. She seems distant, quieter, less affectionate. Conversations are shorter, colder. Sometimes don't happen at all. You still sleep in the same bed, but emotionally, you're miles apart. This is something many men over 50 quietly go through. They don't talk about it. They don't complain. They just wonder, what happened to us? Did I do something wrong? Or worse, is she falling out of love with me? Here's the truth. Long-term love doesn't usually break overnight. It fades, slowly, quietly, in the small, overlooked moments. But it can be brought back. Connection can be rebuilt, even now. In this video, we'll take a deeper look at why your wife might be growing emotionally distant. And most importantly, how you can turn things around before it's too late. So if you've ever sat beside the woman you love and felt like a stranger, stay with me, because what you'll hear today might just change everything. Let's begin. For years, she's been the feeling keeper of the family. She remembered the birthdays. She noticed when the kids were upset. She sensed when something felt off and carried it silently. She managed the moods, kept the peace, held space for everyone else's needs, while often ignoring her own. And chances are, you didn't even realize it was happening, not because you didn't care, but because she never made it obvious. She just handled things, quietly, dependably, every single day. But here's the truth many men miss. That kind of emotional labor builds up, and over decades, it wears hair down. You might think, she never said anything, but she did, in the way she sighed after dinner, in the way she didn't respond when you walked into the room. These weren't mood swings. They were signs that she was carrying too much, for too long. And eventually, when no one helps carry the weight, she puts it down. Not because she doesn't love you, but because she's tired. Tired of holding everything together, by herself. There was a time when you two could talk about anything. Dreams, fears, little things that didn't even matter, but still felt important. You asked her, how was your day? What are you thinking about? What would you love to do next year? But somewhere along the way, those conversations faded. And now, most of what you say to each other sounds like, what's for dinner? Did you take the trash out? We need to pay that bill. The connection isn't gone, but it's starved. Women crave emotional closeness, not just physical presence, but real attention, real curiosity. And when the talking stops, so does the feeling of being seen, heard, valued. She starts to pull back, not out of anger, but out of quiet disappointment. You may still love her deeply, but if you're no longer speaking her emotional language, she won't feel that love. It's not the silence that's dangerous. It's what the silence means. And if you're not talking with her, she'll eventually stop trying to talk with you. When the words fade, so do the shared efforts. Suddenly, she's not just unheard, she's unsupported. Retirement was supposed to bring freedom. More time to relax, more time together, less pressure. But for her, retirement didn't retire the chores. The laundry still needs folding. The kitchen still needs cleaning. Groceries, meals, dishes, all the little things still fall on her. And maybe you didn't notice, not because you're lazy, but because she always just did it. Quietly, automatically, without making a fuss. But inside, resentment grows. Because while you may have stepped away from the 9 to 5, she never truly stepped away from her unpaid job, the one she's had for 30 or 40 years. She's tired, not just physically, but emotionally. She doesn't want to feel like your maid. She wants to feel like your partner. And every time she wipes down the counter, while you scroll your phone, it chips away at her. It's not about the dishes. It's about feeling alone in the effort, feeling unseen. And when that feeling lingers long enough, she begins to detach, not with a bang, but with quiet, steady distance. After TTT, many women begin to rediscover themselves. The kids are grown. The house is quieter. And for the first time in years, she has room to think, to feel, to grow. She might pick up a new hobby, join a book club, take a class, start traveling, or simply spend more time with friends who make her laugh. She's not trying to leave you behind. She's just trying to reconnect with herself. But here's the hard truth. If you've stopped growing, she will start feeling alone. Not physically, but emotionally, intellectually, spiritually. If your world has shrunk to the television, the recliner, and the same routine every day, while hers is expanding, there's going to be distance. She doesn't need you to change who you are. She just needs to know you're still curious, still alive inside, still becoming something more just like her. When a woman grows, and her partner stays still, she doesn't feel safe. She feels stuck, and no woman wants to outgrow the man she loves. It's not about sex. It's about feeling wanted. Over the years, touch becomes routine. A quick hug, a pat on the back, maybe even nothing at all. You may not even notice it, but she does. Every time you pass her without a glance, every time you climb into bed and turn the other way, she feels it. She's not looking for fireworks. She's looking for connection. A soft touch on the shoulder, a hand that lingers, a kiss that means more than habit. She wants to feel seen, chosen, desired, and when that disappears, something in her begins to dim. She might ask herself, am I still attractive? Does he even see me anymore? Because feeling invisible to the one person who once adored you is one of the deepest kinds of hurt. You might still love her, but if you stop expressing it, she stops feeling it. And when that intimacy fades, so does the bond. It doesn't vanish overnight. It just gets quieter until there's nothing left but silence. Retirement was supposed to be the dream. No more early alarms, no more commutes, just time to rest, travel, enjoy life together. But for many couples, retirement brings an unexpected shock. You go from working full-time to being home all the time. No routine, no clear plan, just long, open days. And guess who ends up managing that time? Her. Suddenly, you're looking to her for entertainment, for structure, for purpose. And without meaning to, you become her full-time responsibility again. She's spent decades taking care of everyone. Now, in the years she hoped to breathe, she's suffocating because retirement didn't feel like freedom. It felt like another job. She didn't sign up to be your cruise director, your daily scheduler, your constant companion. She wanted space, time for herself, a chance to finally explore her interests, not fill the void in yours. And if that dynamic stays unbalanced, the emotional weight becomes too much. She won't complain loudly. She'll just grow quiet, disengaged, and slowly distant. But even beyond the daily routine, it's how you respond when she opens up that cuts the deepest. She talks. You nod. She suggests something. You shrug it off. Not because you're trying to hurt her, but because you think it's not a big deal. But to her, it was. Say, women don't need grand gestures. They need to feel heard, respected, taken seriously. So when she shares how she feels and gets a blank stare, she starts to wonder, does what I say even matter anymore? She brings up a concern. You wave it away. She tries again. You change the subject. She offers an idea. You joke it off. At first, she pushes harder, speaks louder, gets frustrated. Then one day, she just goes quiet. That's not peace. That's resignation. Because when a woman feels unheard long enough, she stops talking, stops trying, stops trusting that her words hold any weight. And in that silence, a wall starts to build. You might think, she's just moody. But really, she's mourning the connection that used to be there. A woman will fight to be understood, until it feels pointless. And when that moment comes, distance is already moving in. Because when the connection fades, and she no longer feels seen or heard, she begins to feel the weight of passing time. Something shifts when you start losing people. Friends, neighbors, siblings. Funerals become more frequent than weddings. And your wife starts to feel the weight of time. She looks around and wonders, how many good years do I have left? Not in fear, But with clarity, that awareness, it changes her. She starts asking different questions. Am I happy? Do I feel loved? Is this the life I want to live now? And if the answers feel empty, she doesn't scream. She doesn't demand. She withdraws. Not out of anger, but out of self-preservation. She's not trying to hurt you. She's trying to protect what little peace she has left. Because when time feels precious, a woman stops begging for connection. She stops chasing effort that never comes. She simply turns inward, focuses on herself, her health, her joy. And if her partner doesn't meet her there, doesn't see her there, she quietly lets go. Not because she doesn't care, but because she finally realizes she deserves to feel alive, not just needed. That realization doesn't make her bitter. It makes her brave. Brave enough to want more. From life, from love, from you. By now you may be wondering, what does she even want from me anymore? Here's the truth. It's not diamonds. It's not a trip to Paris. And it's definitely not some big dramatic gesture. What women want after 50 is something much deeper. They want to be seen, heard, respected, and valued, not as a caregiver, not just as a wife, but as a person still growing, still worthy, still alive inside. They want to feel like they still matter, that their voice holds weight, that someone notices when they're hurting and celebrates when they're shining. And more than anything, they want to feel like they're still chosen, even after the wrinkles, even after the changes, even after decades of familiarity. Dr. Terry Orbuch, a marriage therapist with over 25 years of research, puts it simply, the happiest couples are the ones who still show interest in each other, not just love, but attention. Because love without attention feels invisible, and invisibility is the silent killer of long-term relationships. This is especially true in marriage over 50, when life slows down, routines set in, and it becomes easy to take each other for granted. But here's the thing. What women want isn't mystery. It's meaning. They want small things done sincerely. A touch on the back as you walk by, asking how she's really feeling, and actually listening, saying, "You look beautiful today," and meaning it. These aren't grand gestures. They're everyday choices. And they mean more than any gift ever could. Because at this stage in life, a woman doesn't need to be impressed. She needs to be acknowledged. She needs to feel like the man beside her still sees her, still cares, still chooses her. Not out of habit, but out of love. And if a part of you is aching right now, because you know you haven't shown up that way lately, don't worry. It's not too late. So now you know the why. But what about the how? How do you rebuild something that's quietly broken? How do you reconnect with a woman who seems so far away, even though she sleeps right next to you? It doesn't take a grand gesture. You don't need to book a trip to Italy or write poetry. What you need is presence. Let's talk about a few simple, powerful ways you can start rebuilding the connection. This week, start with real listening. Not problem solving, not defending. Just listening. When she talks, don't jump in. Don't fix. Don't turn it into a joke. Just pause. Look at her. Let her finish. Then say, "That must feel heavy. I didn't realize. Tell me more." Those words matter more than any solution. Take small action steps. Wash the dishes. Fold the laundry. Bring her coffee without being asked. Not because it's her birthday, but because she deserves rest too. Little things say, "I see you. I'm with you. I'm still choosing you." Rekindle non-sexual touch. Touch her hand while watching television. Hug her in the kitchen. Kiss her forehead and walk away. Let her know your affection isn't just a lead-up to something else. It's about connection, comfort, care. Express admiration, not obligation. Don't just say, "Love you." Say, "I love how patient you are with the grandkids. I admire how strong you've been through everything." Specific praise lands deeper than routine words. Show curiosity again. Ask her about her, not who she used to be, but who she is now. What have you been thinking about lately? If you could take one class, what would it be? What's something new you want to try this year? These questions say, "I still care who you're becoming." Encourage shared growth. Find something new to do together. Take walks. Cook a new recipe. Start a weekend hobby, just the two of you. You're not too old to learn something new. And neither is your relationship. And most of all, choose her. Daily. Not just when things get tense. Not just when you're worried she's slipping away. But every morning. Every evening. In the small ways. That's what love looks like after 50. Not fireworks. But steady sparks. Tended gently. Over time. Because she's not asking you to be a new man. She's asking you to show her that the man she fell in love with is still in there. Still listening. Still growing. Still reaching for her. On purpose. And that is how you begin again. Because rebuilding isn't just about the relationship. It's about reclaiming the life you both still deserve. Aging is real. Bodies change. Energy fades. Life slows down in ways we didn't expect. But love doesn't disappear with age. It disappears when it's ignored. You don't need to be 30 again. You don't need six-pack abs or movie lines. You just need to show up. With intention. With softness. With presence. Because your wife isn't asking for a new man. She's asking for a man who still sees her. Still listens. Still reaches out without being told. Maybe things have grown quiet. Maybe the distance feels wide. But if you've made it this far, you can rebuild. And not just survive marriage after 50, but actually make it meaningful again. Small steps. Simple moments. They still matter. In fact, they matter more now than ever. So let this be your reminder. You don't need to be young to make her feel loved. You just need to be present. If you're ready to fix a relationship problem, start with your presence, not your wallet. And if this message spoke to you, subscribe for more weekly insights on navigating marriage over 50 with heart, wisdom, and grace. You've still got time. You've still got love. Let's make it count.